Hey guys, Casual Retro Gamer here. So far on this channel we have focused on the Amiga platform, looking back at some of the games from this platform's history. But there is a fantastic active community out there, bringing new ports and even new games to the Amiga and the CD32. So today we're going to take a look at 4 such games, starting with an old classic that's been given a modern makeover. The Great Giana Sisters Specialization by Tisk and Iraq is an update of the original 1998 game by Time Warp, featuring fantastic animated intro and completely new graphics. The gameplay remains identical, but there is the addition of CD32 joypad support, allowing you to make use of blue for jump rather than up on the D-pad. The game itself is an excellent platformer that is designed very much after Mario. The layout of the first few levels is actually almost a direct lift from Mario Brothers, but is that really a bad thing? After all, Mario is probably one of the best known games of all time, so this game copying it in layout gives it a feel of familiarity right from the get-go. The controls are very good, allowing for fast-paced platforming. Your character is perhaps a bit slippery at times, but nothing you can't get used to after a few minutes of play. Like in Mario, there are various power-ups, with the first giving you the ability to break blocks, then the next giving you a projectile to fire at enemies, which is then upgraded to bounce off the scenario, and then further upgraded to track to enemies' positions. In Mario, if you're hit, you'll revert back one power-up. But in Giana, well, you die immediately, and you will lose all your power-ups. This really does add to the difficulty, as later levels can become a bit of a struggle without these power-ups. So if you do lose them, this game will really test your platforming skills. In all, this is a fantastic release and one I highly recommend. Let's just take a minute here to compare the two games side by side. This game is available for download over at Pixel Glass Games, where they have versions available for hard drive equipped Amigas. There's an ISO there for your CD32, or even an ADF disk image for your standard Amiga.
I wanted to be a lumberjack.
The next game we are going to look at is a new release from last year, Lumberjack Reloaded. Based on a Commodore 64 game called Lumberjack, this is a very simple game that, to be honest, would not feel out of place on a mobile phone. You as the Lumberjack must chop down the tree one ring at a time while avoiding overhanging branches. That's it. To keep things interesting though, there is a timer constantly ticking away, which is partly refilled with each successful chop, so you can't really afford to take your time. Press left on the D-pad and the Lumberjack chops from left to right. Press right on the D-pad and the Lumberjack chops from right to left. Using the CD32 joypad gives you an alternative to press blue, i.e. the far right button on the pad, to chop from the right. Personally, I would much rather have used the shoulder buttons on the joypad, or at least like to have seen an option to customize these controls. Power-ups exist in the form of women's shoes, bra and pants. Collect them all and receive an extra 10 points for each time you swap sides. There is then a bottle that when collected will reduce your time, or if enabled in the options, will start drunk mode that reverses the controls, essentially ensuring instant death. I did read somewhere that something may be revealed at a score of 1000, considering the types of power-ups and the expediency in which your lumberjack is chopping. I can't help but wonder what is waiting at the top of this tree. In all, Lumberjack Reloaded is a very simple game, but one worth checking out for a quick play every now and then. The game is available now over at amiga.net.pl, where you can purchase a box version, or just as I did, you can purchase the download that comes with the ADF and an ISO that you burn yourself. It's only €2 for the download, so well worth checking out. The next game I want to look at is an older FMV game that has been recently ported over to the CD32 by Alarcity. Road Avenger. Road Avenger. Makes me giddy just thinking about it. When this was first announced, I honestly could not wait. I followed the development closely, getting more and more excited about the possibility of getting a port of one of the most sought after FMV games to my Wii console. When this port landed, I honestly must have watched the intro 30 times over on repeat with my jaw on the floor. The first thing that strikes you when you load this up is the video quality. It's fantastic. Okay, I know these days we look back at most FMV games not so fondly, but at the time they were seen as the next big thing in computer gaming. And you could almost argue that they were the cornerstone of the likes of the Mega CD. But this port of Road Avenger to the Amiga absolutely blows the Mega CD commercially released port away. The video playback is leaps and bounds above that of the Mega CD in quality. This release isn't just a simple port though, as it gives you both the Mega CD and the arcade intros, gives you the option to watch through the full video without playing, has a level skip built into it, and also multiple difficulty levels. The game itself is fantastic, and while there is little replayability with most FMV games, I do find myself being drawn back into Road Avenger time and time again, just because the premise and the video is so engaging. Yeah, I know the first few levels off by heart by now, but they're still fun to play through. Gameplay itself is very simple. You get prompts on the screen for left or right, just push left or right on the D-pad. You get a prompt to brake, just push down. Or if it tells you to turbo, press red. That's it. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But not so in practice. There is little more I can really say about this, other than go download it and check out this amazing port for yourself. I personally think these games are a bit of a missed opportunity by the Amiga software houses at the time, as I for one would have happily shelled out £30 for this back in the 90s. Alarcity has also brought us a copy of Time Gal to the CD32, which is another fantastic port of an FMV game, but for me it's all about Road Avenger. Let's look at the Amiga version and the Mega CD version side by side here, just to compare the quality that I'm talking about. you absolutely have to love that intro song. The game is available to download now over at Pixel Glass Games, and I'll stick a link in the description. And finally, let me show you a new game. Still in development, this is Alarcity, a fast-paced, open-world shooter for AGA Amigas. This game drops you into a world filled by various monster blobs, and it's your job to take them out, collect money to buy power-ups, and just survive. Well, that's the premise of the demo anyway, that can be freely downloaded over at Pixel Glass Games. To be honest, the demo is so good that I, for one, would have happily received it as the full finished game. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what else will be in the final version. The demo gives you 3 weapons to choose from: a fast straight shot, a wide shot, and a slower, more powerful straight shot. You can assign 2 weapons to each of the red and blue buttons on the joypad. You can't fire both simultaneously, but you can quickly alternate buttons to give a good spread of fire. Your character can move and fire in 8 directions, but you'll find yourself spending most of the time moving and firing in the 4 main directions: up, down, left and right. There's just something odd about the controls that makes this approach more natural. I'm sure for the final release controls will be tweaked, but this is really just a minor complaint. Likewise, enemy types are also free to move and fire back, with the orange enemy type shooting a fast straight projectile. The blue enemies fire a wide shot with a short range. The purple enemy types try to rush your position, especially if you shoot one of the larger purple guys that splits into 2 smaller ones. And then the red enemy types just appear to be your basic cannon fodder. Pressing yellow takes you to the shop, in which you can buy various upgrades for your weapons and even extra health. Graphically, the game is fantastic, and its use of music and sound effects in game bring a great atmosphere to the experience. The music in the game is particularly good, and I'd like to see a sound select in the options to let us listen to the tracks and possibly even rip them for ourselves. I honestly can't wait for the full game to be released next year, and I highly recommend everyone check out the demo. Alarcity is fantastically simple, yet extremely addictive. I've linked the demo in the description below. Well, there we have it. 4 releases, okay, 3 releases and 1 demo, but nevertheless it goes to show the Amiga, and in particular the CD32, is still actively being supported by the community, and I would urge everyone to get involved and support these people who are keeping the platform alive. I've really only scratched the surface of new games and new ports in this video, and I'd highly recommend anyone interested heads over to the English Amiga board forums to check out the great work being done. Along with new games and new ports, older Amiga games are also getting new life on the CD32, adding multi-button support, new CD music, and even some new FMV intros and new compilations. Well, that's it for this time guys. Thank you very much for watching Casual Retro Gamer, and I'll see you next time.